Hello in O-Gauge land, it's Gary of O-Gauge Trains. I wanted to start by doing something a little different today. 300 subscribers. Thank you very much for all those who have subscribed and like my videos. Gee, seems like yesterday I was at 100, and just after Christmas I was at 200, and now I'm at 300. So thank you very much for liking the channel and subscribing. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to show you my less than clean basement and the train room that surrounds it. First I wanted to start with my workbench here. First project I've got here is this third rail J3 Hudson. I bought this at auction a couple years ago. If some of you are on some of the train forums like Train Orders and OGR, this was Hot Water's Jack's third rail Hudson, and I got it at auction when he decided to sell his collection. It's had several issues. It's been a shelf queen for a couple years now, and so I'm finally getting to get it to work. I don't understand how Jack ran this on his layout, because this thing was a hot mess when I got it. Sadly, with all brass engines, if they're not packed right, you get damage, and this one was damaged during shipping. Pieces were floating around in the box. There was an issue with the rear driver. It is out of quarter, so if it was pulling a load, it would jam the running gear and actually lock up going forward. To fix that, I got lucky. I was going to send it to Roy's Trains to have him re-quarter the rear driver, but I got lucky. What I did is I removed the driver, I flipped it around and reinstalled it. Runs perfectly. So issue number one solved. The next thing I did is I got Gunrunner John's Super Chuffer. Installed the Super Chuffer inside the engine, which connects to the smoke unit, the headlight, and the cab light. And this one did have running light inspection lights, but it was such a rat's nest of wiring in there, and I had a short. I decided just to pull the inspection lights. I don't care if they're there or not. Some of you might yell at me for removing them, but it really doesn't bother me. So with that, I have Rule 17 lighting. The engine stops, the headlight gets dim, the cab light turns on, the smoke volume goes down, goes to an idle. And as you've seen in my other videos, once the engine starts chuffing, John really did a good job with those Super Chuffers. Really nice, forceful chuffs coming out. Another issue was the EOB motherboard. Believe it or not, the original one had a issue. If you went in reverse, the sounds would drop out. Never seen that before. Here's the original board, so I had to swap that out. Everything works now. All I got to do is put this back together. One final issue I'm having is Jack had scale wheels put on the front truck and the rear truck. The rear truck, the wheels, the truck is jumping the tracks and derailing in reverse on curves. So what I'll probably do is there's springs in here. I'll remove those springs. Hopefully that'll fix that. And once I get that all put together, I'll do a video of this guy on the train. So if Evan, my cameraman, can back up a little. This is my workbench. If you've seen in some of the forums when everybody asks what iron to get, I've got an older version, Hakko. Great irons. I've got a Mth Cal desoldering station. I salvaged that one from my work. Didn't work. It intermittently works now, but it's good enough for me. As you can see, it's a total mess. Once I get this engine done, I'll clean up this bench. I got other projects that I need to get on it. Plenty of KDs waiting to go. KD shims. I got screws all over the place. trucks all over the place. And of course I've got my nice stereo system for tunes. So if Evan would back up, we'll go to the next project. We'll do the layout here. Next project after the engine is I finally got some ballast from Scenic Express. We're going to continue ballasting the track. As you can see in a lot of my videos, I stopped here, down there, and I stopped way down there. Time to do some more ballasting. I'll get that going. And let's see what about some of the trains I've got. I'll show you. Up front here on the milk train is I've got some nice reefer cars from Atlas. All the milk cars. I've got quite a few. I don't even think these are all the milk cars I have out. I'll pull these forward. Rutland, B&M, Central Vermont are the new ones. Everything else are the older ones. As you can see, I'm big into New England, big into New York Central. So I definitely had to get milk cars. I do love these cars. These are some of the best cars Lionel's ever produced. As you see on these older cars, I haven't converted these to KD. I'm kind of hesitant because these trucks are so good. As you can see, I just love these knuckle couplers. So I have a problem tearing these apart because once you go to KD, there's no going back. The way I do it, I just hack and destroy. So these are all my milk cars. Another video. This is one of the latest additions to the layout. This is a Lionel 260 Mogul. If you know the issues that Lionel had with the Moguls, they didn't run right. A good friend of mine, Norton, on the OGR forum, got this engine. He did a couple fixes to it. This thing runs beautifully. So I'm very glad. Central Vermont. I had a Rutland. I returned it because Lionel was unable to fix it and got my money back. But at least I got a Rutland engine now. So let's move this. What did I say? Well, I had a Rutland. That's what I said.
Yeah,
and now I have a Central Vermont. Excuse me. Let's move these out of the way. Friend of mine, you may know him on the OGR farm, Dave C. gave me this car. I gotta still convert that to KD. That's an MTH flat. We got MTH. Can't remember if that's MTH or Atlas. These are Weaver. I think that's Atlas. And are these Weavers? These Weavers. This B&M Boston and Albany caboose is not prototypical, but since there's hardly any Boston and Albany cabooses, I had to pick one up. If we back up, that's my third rail Boston and Maine Berkshire. I've got that one on eBay, really cheap. This one was also a hot mess. The running gear was broken. I was able to replace some of the running gear with MTH parts. This also has EOB, also has a super chuffer in it. I love the way this engine runs. Beautiful engine. And if we keep going, go around. Here we have an engine shed. This was built by Crescent Locomotive Works. You might have seen him if you go to the York show. He used to go to the Amherst show at the Big E. He doesn't do that anymore, but he does excellent work here. You can even lift up the roof and look inside. As you can see, I've got Lionel Empire State Express J3 Hudson. I've got the Mr. Muffin Special Run J3 Hudson in here. The one that had the 3 chuffs, which is now fixed, has the 4 chuffs. And as you can see, the underside of the engine shed, all the lighting. And even the smoke, if you got an engine right underneath, smoke will even come out of the stack here if it's up and running. So let me put this back on. There we go. Also from Crescent Locomotive Works is their water tower here, water tank. This thing, beautiful. The light's not lit, so I gotta wonder what the heck's going on there. Maybe a loose wire. Third rail coaling tower. This is their wood version. If I had known Scott was going to do a concrete one, I would have gotten that one, but I got this one instead. Let's move on. Bowser turntable. This is a 32-inch turntable. I need that length for my Challenger. The gearing, the motor and the gearing is broke. And I've been meaning for years now to fix it. But you know what? It's just easier to spin it around by hand and get it lined up. But there's a couple companies that make retro kits for this. I still gotta paint the brass so you don't see the brass and dirty it up. It's a project that I'm going to do one of these days. If you also notice, I've got a lot of Z stuff semaphores. The cats like to chew on them, sadly, and I got to readjust that one. But these are all, I like these. These are all over the layout. And here we have in my roundhouse the majority collection of my engines. This one was weathered by Dave C., who I mentioned earlier. This is a Lionel 080. It's got Rail Sounds 5. Next to it is a K-Line Berkshire. This one's been upgraded with an EOB cruise board. It also has a super chuffer and an Train America Studios smoke unit. Next to it is the green version K-Line Berkshire. I do love these engines. Also upgraded to super chuffer Train American Studios smoke unit. Also has an EOB cruise control in it. Next to it, this is a Mth L4 Mohawk, and Evan, my cameraman, is taking the elephant ears off of it right now. This one's destined for a special upgrade that I will do a video on probably this summer. I'm definitely going to send this one to Harry Heike, have him weather it. I don't run this much because it's a Ps2, and I'll go into my feelings about the DCS system on a later date. I do run it on this layout, but I think the sounds on this are very, very bland, and special upgrade is coming for it. And in a future video, probably 6-8 months time, it'll sound a lot different. Next to it, third rail Mohawk, third rail Niagara. This is probably the oldest engine I have on the layout. This is early 2000s. Again, upgraded for Train America Studios turbo smoke unit. It's got an EOB motherboard. It's got daylight sounds in it right now. I really haven't found a good sound set for it, but that's what it's got for right now. One of my smoothest running engines. I don't run this one enough. Next to it, J1 Hudson, also third rail. This one's got a super chuffer smoke unit. This one has EER cruise, I'm pretty sure. Next to that is a Weaver, the only Weaver engine I've got on my layout. This is a B&M Pacific that I purchased a couple months, April York, a couple months before Weaver announced that he was retiring and closing down. Beautiful engine. I love the way this sucker runs. Next to that are two Lionel engines that you probably may have seen a video on. This was a Main Central Mikado. I had Harry Heike weather it and re-letter it for Rutland and change the number boards. Same thing with this was a New Haven 10-wheeler. I had Harry weather it and letter it and renumber it for Rutland. And I run these in a lash up a lot. Beautiful sounding engines, beautiful smoking engines. They're just a dream to watch, especially when the chuffing gets out of sync. So that's this end of the layout. And here we have a Ps2 Mth Challenger. My son loves to run this engine. I have the auxiliary tender with it. This one is also slated for a special upgrade. This probably won't get done until next Christmas, but this is a beautiful runner. Runs beautifully. In the background, Lionel Cabooses, Dave C. Also lettered and weathered that caboose for me. Mostly a lot of Atlas O rolling stock in the picture, some weavers. If we turn around, not much in the shelf, but more is going on the shelf because I just do not have the room for it. This is another project I plan on completing one of these days. This is an Mth F3 ABA unit. This was a PS1 unit. My plan is to get rid of the lobster claws, as you can see up here, convert to fixed pilots, KD couplers throughout. I have a powered unit here, a powered unit here. I may even put a dummy unit in here, and I'll have smoke. I'm not sure if I'll put PS3 or EER in it. There may even be a possibility of having Legacy put in it, but we'll have to see how much money I want to spend. K-line die-cast hopper cars. I usually don't run these. They're just way too heavy for I like to run long trains, and they're just too heavy, so I put them up there. Same with these guys. Boston and Albany K-line 4-bay hopper. B&A never had 4 bays, so this rarely gets used. One of the few die-cast Atlas O 2-bay hoppers. Passenger cars. As you can see here, I should have powered them up, but these are all MTH passenger cars, all lettered in the Boston and Albany. There's 2 different sets. There's the original 5-pack and a 3-pack add-on. Also plan on switching these to KDs, just haven't done it yet. This, one of my only running diesel locomotives at the moment. I picked this up at Legacy Station near Atlanta. Great store. If you're ever in the Atlanta area, you got to go to Legacy Station. And I love this engine. This thing crawls. It is perfect for switching operations. I'll have to do a video with KD couplers and how slow this sucker goes. You can build a train. It's like the real thing. Another building by Crescent Locomotive Works. Beautiful. He does beautiful work. I love that guy. And I haven't bought anything from him in a while. I still hope he's in. Oh, that reminds me. Back up a little bit. I've got an icing platform that Crescent Locomotive also done. He's also got lighting on here. I can set it up so all of my reefer cars are getting ice. He does great work here. Of course, the cats knock everything down, but can't keep the cats off the layout no matter how much I try. If we come, this is before I had these bridges, both ends of these layouts halves here were up to here. Luckily I had enough room. I've always wanted bridges. These are Atlas O bridges. As you can see, I've transitioned from either Garb Graves or Ross track to the Atlas track. The plan is to put a water feature in here eventually. So I have two Atlas bridges that connect the main table to the pushback part of the table. Here I have my yard. As you can see, I got a lot of, there's Weaver 3-bay B&A hopper cars in here, some MTH, some Atlas, and you can tell. Military train, that's one thing I'm going to miss about MTH is the military vehicles. Lots of flats. Those are World War II Shermans. Those are Korean vintage emergency Red Cross vehicles. The United States Army Red Cross car and the Pullman car, those are Atlas with using Weaver's tooling. Some of you know that the Weaver cars were actually warping due to zinc rot. And basically that is just all of the layout. As you can see, I do save all my boxes. I never know when I'm going to sell something. It's always good to sell something with the original box, so I keep all boxes. So that's my dirty basement and my layout. Again, thank you for the 300 subscribers. Thank you for liking my videos. You keep liking them, I'll keep doing them. So happy railroading out there in O Gauge land, and I will talk to you later.